can't see my eyes, but that's probably good.
Get out the insurance cards, get out the copays. The office is open, my friends. Brought to you by DrRoto.com.
So let's get to it.
Bring the bang!
What's up, everybody? It's Heat Override, and I'm ready to bring the pain for you this week. Ooh, yeah. And of course, Dr. Roto, if you haven't been to the site, get to the site, use code word WIN, and become our rich friend. What's up, Fuego Steve? How you doing today?
I'm pretty good. Hanging in there. It's been a long week, but we're ready for some football, and I'm doing well. Yourself? How are you doing?
I'm doing good, man. Basketball's been doing all right for me. Win, lose, it's more of like a heartache for me. NHL was pretty nice to me this week. I hit on a nice lineup kick through in there, so I kind of was using free money all week. And now, of course, I keep betting on the Olympics. I had to stop betting on the Olympics to actually write down these football bets today for the show because I was just like, man, I love the Olympics, and I woke up to some money. So I was like, well, let me just go spend that money. So now that's all done. Now I got all the football bets aside. I got the DFS sides. Everything's done. I'm ready for the UFC, and it's just going to be a fun day for me. I mean, I've had different aspects of the Olympics on all day, watched people wipe out, watched whoever that is for America, that skater dude just kill it right now. Now we're here live, man. I'm down, dude. But oh, what's up, man? It's Ken Vick. We got Ken Vick. Steve, this is Ken Vick. This is Ken Vick talk that we always talk about, man.
What's up, man? How y'all doing? It's funny. I'm always giving out DraftKings advice, but I'm wearing my FanDuel hat, and this is it's my baseball hat from the World Fantasy Baseball Championships of 2018 in San Diego, which I came in 7th place, by the way. Then I'm not even wearing a football shirt. My girl, Caitlin Clark, T-shirt, baby. Yeah. WNBA. Oh, that'll be I was going to wear my Lamar Jackson shirt, but I decided to just be neutral.
I'm going NFC West. We're going to bring that trophy back to the NFC West. That's what we're going to do right now. Of course, I do want to say this. Your shirt is in. I got it.
All right.
After this show.
All right. Yeah, if you haven't paid attention, I don't want to say I was lucky, but I was in Heat's individual defensive player league this year for the first time I ever played in an IDP league, and I took it down, but mainly because of my offense. But so I appreciate it.
Hey, man, it's what I do. I had because of the chop league, there ended up being 2 winners, so I ended up playing that in there. So we'll get to that real quick. But I had to give out, instead of 2 shirts, 3 shirts this year. So I'm really excited. Of course, I had Ninja Posse on last week. That was Tuesday. That was my subscribers spotlight. And then, of course, I had Tips on, and then I had J Ropes on, and then Tushi, who's more with the Get Right Fantasy crew, and another crew that I kind of run with on the side. Just, talk good people. And I'm in a few of their leagues. He came over and he filled that last spot. And that was, so, he's got that going. So it's just great to get this logo back out. This is the shirt actually right here, man. I love it. Feels good. I highly recommend it.
Let me see mine.
Right here, bro.
Bring it.
I don't want to unfold it. It's all nicely folded. You know what I'm saying? Like
That's all right. All right. I thought we changed halfway through to $1,000 a person.
What?
To $1,000 a person. No, awesome, man. I'm kidding. That's awesome. Yeah,
because you got the same material. This material feels great, man. You're like it. Oh, you got the strong. Yeah, you can't wait. But hey, let's see what Ken Vick's got. Who do y'all think is gonna win the Super Bowl? Ken Vick thinks the Seahawks are going to win. That's what we're here for. I have a ton of bets to give out. Of course, my bets are going to be in the line that I did the Heatastic football bets every single Monday night football game, Thursday night football game, all year long at Dr. Roto. Again, that's how you get it. We will also be giving out DFS lineups and a DFS simulated lineup from DFS Hero. If you haven't been over there yet, check out their product, 20% off if you use code word DOC. I mean, we're talking about some money today, but we're getting bets in. We're going to have your DFS lineups, and we're going to have some fun. So that being said, Steve, he asked about it. Who do you got winning the Super Bowl?
You know, I mean, the Patriots are favored for not the Patriots. The sorry, I was clicking back here. The Seahawks are favored for a reason. I think if their defense comes to play, and if Kenneth Walker can get going and JSN does his thing, they should win the game. Now, obviously, anything can happen. I think it's 4.5 point spread. If May has a great game, if Hunter Henry goes off, if their offense can get going and maybe, make it more of a shootout or a little more of a higher scoring game, the over under 45 and a half, which actually isn't huge for a Super Bowl, at least off the top of my head. It just depends. If these, both of these teams have really good defenses. So if it's a defensive game, I think it leans to Seattle. If it's an offense, I don't know. I mean, I like New England's offense overall a little bit better. But I think the Seahawks get it done. Shout out to my friend Kelly from Seattle. I told her I forgot to give her a shout out this time. She's excited. I told her that my podcast partner, she beat my podcast partner last week, and you were upset, but she wasn't even looking at the score, and I was like, oh, it was like the week before where I was like 45 to whatever. I was like, 7-0, 14-0, 21-0, and but she's excited. So shout out to Kelly. But yeah, I mean, it's going to be a great game. 2 14-3 teams. I don't see a blowout on either side, but I do think the Seahawks get it done.
Okay, and I will agree with that. And a lot of what I'm going to talk about when I get into my betting aspects and I get into my scoring, I will give my reasons why I feel that Seattle will win this game. Again, I feel that the true Super Bowl was played when Seattle and the Rams played, because those were the two teams that were going to go on to this Super Bowl and win this Super Bowl. I didn't think that the AFC was going to be able to put out a better product to beat us consistently. I know that's taking a lot from what the New England Patriots have accomplished, but a team like the Buffalo Bills would have been a little harder for the Rams to play with, because running quarterbacks always give us problems. So that's kind of like that.
Yeah. And not to interrupt, but right. I mean, well, in the beginning of the season, we're looking at the Bills, the Ravens, some high-powered offenses that were supposed to come out of the AFC, and then it's the Patriots, I mean, they had a great season. Don't get me wrong; they're very well-rounded. They don't have the superstar wide receiver or the superstar quarterback or whatever it might be. I didn't mean to interrupt. I think you're right.
No, you're good. You're good. No, I'm getting everything planned out and getting everything going for us and everything. That's how I do it, man. I got to make sure I got everything on cue and on tap, and making sure that we get it, and that I got the likes and the shares going, and that we got people going in and the right people in the videos in the right places. And that's how I do all that during you guys, is when you're talking. That's got to be that way. All right, man. Well, let's get to it. Let's get to some of the DFS slate. Okay, of course, we all know JSN is the top dog. We got May, Darnold, Walker, Stevenson, Diggs, and then you get Henry, and then it goes boom, backup quarterbacks all the way down to Keyshawn Butte, and then you get Kupp, you get the kickers, you get some more tight ends, defenses, you get some special guys. This is what the slate's going to be. This is a showdown slate. This is why nobody's going to go live and say, hey, we're just going to go live and talk about a showdown slate. They're too scared to, Steve, but me and you aren't scared, because we don't care. We say everything with our chest, brother.
That's right. And I don't. I haven't played as much showdowns this year as I have in the past, but I've been really good at showdowns because it's a lot less for me to concentrate than on 13 games. I can concentrate on one game. So I've won some decent money on showdowns, and it's a great way to enjoy one game. And obviously, this is the biggest game of the year, so throw a little bit, throw a lot, whatever you want to do. Throw a few lineups in just for fun, or it's a way a little bit different than just playing your football squares or things like that. But yeah, looking at it from the DFS side, JSN obviously the most expensive. That's pretty obvious. And then Darnold, Walker expected, and Stevenson and Diggs, Henry, and then like you said, just drops right off. We don't all those second, third, and this is exactly what we were just talking about. The second, third, and fourth receivers or whatever aren't above those quarterbacks. Like some teams, you have three receivers that are above those quarterbacks, because they're good or they're whatever they may be. And we're talking about we have 1, 2, 3. I mean, if you get rid of the quarterbacks, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 guys that are position players, above the backup quarterback, and all the other guys are below. So it's going to be interesting, and even making lineups. When I was messing with lineups, you're going to have money left over, probably. Right. And there's like some showdowns you look at it and you're like, oh, I wish I could get him in. I wish I could get him in. Oh man, you got to this one. It's a tough one because it's not like I don't know. It's just it's not. It's an interesting one. Let's put it that way.
It is. So let's just go through it. So here's the thing. When I was going, you talked about building lineups. Building lineups right there is the one key thing that I always like accustom myself to in doing. So the one guy that has been kind of out of reach has been Stephon Diggs. On a lot of my builds, straight up, Stephon Diggs has been one of the guys. When I did this DFS Heroes simulated lineup for DraftKings, I'm going to give that out right now so everybody gets in there. Before I give that out, I'm going to look over here. I wanted Puka to be in the Super Bowl too for one reason. He was on one of my teams that if would have made to the Super Bowl or would have been able to get there, I would, in my best ball playoff leagues, I would have more teams. Right now, I only have Travion Henderson and I only have Drake May. And it sucked because I had Puka and I didn't have anybody from Seattle on that lineup. And then I also had Denver Broncos too. So I was good on the AFC side. But on the NFC side, it was like, if I could have just got Puka and Kyron Williams through, and then I had Higbee, I would have been solid for this because I would have had also Travion Henderson and Drake May. So let's give out this lineup, and we'll get to what we're talking about. So as the captain, JSN, Cooper Kupp, Drake May, Holani, Kenneth Walker, and Hollins. I love the Mac Hollins play. Mac Hollins has been on my target. As you know, DFS shows we have done constantly. Mac Hollins, before his injury, was coming through for us at practically $3,000, $3,200, $3,300, and he was a big part of that. The part about this is that a lot of simulators are gravitating to Holani because he got those 4 targets, I think it was last game. And I know that seems like you want a piece of that, and they're also going for salary. But the thing is that a lot of the simulators are putting either Drake May or JSN as the captain. And for me, that's just always paying up. Yeah, you want the highest scoring player to be in the captain spot because it gives you the best. That's a GPP move. I'm fine with that. But as you know, Steve, I like to play for cash games as well too. So as a cash games, I'm not going to take the most expensive guy and put him in there. I'm going to pull him down just like I do in basketball, just like you see in my showdown slate basketball lineups. I'm going to pull down that guy. I'm going to put a cheap guy up there that I think is going to do well, and then I'm going to try to spend my money on the mid-range guys, and hopefully I get a good game, a good solid game. And that it doesn't always work out for basketball. You can literally be 23 points from first place and be out of the cash. So going back over that lineup, I want you to give your thoughts about it. JSN, Cooper Kupp, Drake May, Holani, Walker, Hollins.
I like it. Halani, scares me.
Mhm.
I don't know if he's going to get enough work. That would be my only issue. Um,
Mhm.
uh, you know, but it's very interesting, because you want to be different in a showdown slate.
Yeah.
A lot of times in a showdown, you're going to split it with somebody, or 100 people, depending which contest you're in, or more, because there's only so many lineups to go. And that's when you see some of the crazy stuff. That's why you have to play people like Halani and things like that
Mhm.
in at least for a cash game. I'm not sure I would go Halani personally. I
Yeah.
might want to be played a little safer. Um, we'll get to it in a minute, but I think the defenses are in play. I think the defenses are in play in these showdowns slate. I think they can get you some points, and
Mhm.
they're obviously cheap guys, but you can maybe get them in there and get some points, as opposed to taking your chances with some of the other guys. But no, I like it. I like it.
For me, if I'm gonna go with I'm gonna do what I do, which is a hybrid build off of this. So I'm not gonna put JSN up there, right? I'm gonna come off of that. And then I'm gonna come all the way down to where I'm gonna say if you're that desperate to play Halani, but you're gonna have that extra money, and you were talking about Kenneth Walker going off. So now I got Kenneth Walker. Let's get May and Arnold in there. Now, if you want to be crazy, and now let's be real. Halani got 4 rushes and four targets. But Austin Hooper also got Austin Hooper got 2 targets last game, 1 catch, 14 yards. So for me, if Hooper's that sneaky guy that might be able to save you a little money, then that's the price you're going to have to pay to go that way. Now, for me right now, this lineup rate is too expensive with Walker at the top. So if you were going to do this, come down to, let's say, all the way down to Barner, all right, or Shaheed, and then after you get Barner in, right? So now you have Barner as your captain, JSN, May, Darnold. You're allowed 47 per person. Then that's where you can look at 4,200 for Shaheed and 5,200 for Cup. So we're looking at Barner, JSN, May, Darnold, Shaheed, and Cup. That's kind of an off kilter lineup that, if it hits, it hits. Barner gets that touchdown. Now we're looking at 13, 14 points from Barner. We're looking at New England being the 19th ranked pass defense against tight ends. Also, that same thing goes for Hunter Henry. He's been god awful, horrible this whole offense. I called him up. I said he was going to score, and he returned it with zero productivity. This is a game that he can take advantage of that strong Seattle secondary underneath and get those catches, because I feel that Stevenson's not going to be able to rush on this defense for the Seahawks. And they're going to have to look at maybe Henderson. Henderson's skill set, they were passing to him a lot at the beginning of the season, and then they completely said, we don't care about him anymore. Let's get Stevenson involved in the passing game. It gets lost. I think both running backs have an advantage into this, but I think Hunter Henry still is a sway that people can look at. But I'm fine with that lineup right there. Where do you see swaying outside of that if you were to say maybe not like Barner as a captain? Would you be looking at Cooper Kupp as a captain then?
Not necessarily. I mean, yeah, sure. When you're doing the lower end guys, it's that's more of the risky plays, but obviously you get the higher end guys in. Now, for example, I kind of like Walker at captain. With one of the lines I was messing around with. If you wanted, this is one that I was just messing with. You throw Walker in at captain. Play Seahawks and Patriots defense. All right. Hope for a couple picks, some sacks or whatever. Hollins and May, and then JSN. Then you have 700 left over. You can mess around play the Patriots or Seahawks defense, you could move the Patriots up to Shaheed, for example, or down to Henderson.
Yep. That's what I'm looking at right now.
Yeah, or you know, let's say you don't want to play the Seahawks, you go to Barner or whatever. You know, but you know, I think Henderson's a sneaky play. But I like Holland. You know, I also like. You know, if you want to go for it, I know it's the Super Bowl. If you want to go for it, don't play JSN. Don't play JSN. Now, I'm not saying you should do it, but if you're like, you know what, I'm entering one of these GPPs and JSN is going to be 90% owned. You know what, especially if you're doing a couple lineups, don't play him. See if you can get in, and hope he throws up a dud. Now, I'm not saying that's going to happen, but some of these, I like the kickers in this game. I like Myers definitely in this game. He averaged 11.6 fantasy points per game, and 7, 11, 8, 10, 2, 24. 19, 13, 15. I mean, that's a lots of double digits for a kicker, and it is the Super Bowl. Sometimes you don't take as many risks, so you end up kicking a field goal, or the defense tightens up or whatever it might be. So I do like Jason Myers for sure, a little bit more than the England kicker. The England kicker is not quite as good, and I think, but. If we think the Seahawks are going to win, then they get up, then they kick field goal, et cetera. So I do like Myers, but I think you can put Walker in as captain. I know that was really a long way around it. And then I was doing another lineup. Let's see here, and if you want to put JSN, but the other way to be different is don't put JSN a captain, like you said. Play JSN, But in this one, I have 800 left over. I played JSN at captain. I played the Seahawks. I played Henry. I played Kupp. I played Myers, and I played Walker. No quarterbacks. Now that's risky too, because these are quarterbacks.
Well, if it's a defensive game and the game stays low like that, then you get that edge. Exactly,
and it's obviously rare and for a Super Bowl, but if you play two G, I don't know if you remember my buddy Jaguar Lou, who used to work with me and Doc. He won $1 million on that showdown slate a couple years ago with one lineup. He played 2 defenses, 2 kickers, a receiver, and a running back. And the final score was 6-3 or 9-6 or something. And he had won $1 million. Now, I'm not saying that's going to be the Super Bowl, but those are the ways.
It's worth a shot.
Yeah, especially if you're doing multi, because a lot of people, this is a Super Bowl. I'm not just going to do a single entry. Let's do the 10 max, 20 max, even the 100. There's so many little contests, for it's the Super Bowl. So if you wanted to mix it up a little, to go for it. But I don't think you need JSN a captain. But if you want to, there's an example there. Or let's say you don't like Henry. You could go down to say. You could go Barner, and then you can go up from the Seahawks D. Well, no, that would be you could go Henry and Barner instead of the Seahawks if you don't want to play the Seahawks D, for example. Something like that. But there's in this particular game, there's not a million ways you can, because I don't feel like there's 2 running backs on each team that are splitting carries and 4 wide receiver sets and blah 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 blah. It's JSN. It's back here, running back. That's so. I don't know. It's going to be interesting.
So I threw together what you were talking about: Kenneth Walker at captain, May, Shaheed, Darnold, Butte, and Hollins. If the Patriots are getting blown out, it's going to be all Butte and Hollins getting all that late minute work. If the Seahawks are up, say they get that big bomb from Shaheed, we only get, say, 9 for 76 from JSN, but Walker goes for 119 rushing, say 156 total yards compared, 2 touchdowns. You got everything you need right there. I love that lineup, and I'm locking it in. I might as well just give out my DFS lineup that I got. I put Cooper Cup at the captain because I'm a Ram guy. Rams up. Cooper Cup going for that MVP, right? So Cooper Cup at the captain, JSN, May, Darnold. Now this is where I get crazy. Barner and Hollins. Now, of course, you can move around and start moving around. That's one of those off kilter. That I had that lineup actually set up to where Shaheed was on it, and then I was coming down to whoever else I had somebody else on there that was it, and it was like, you know what? That just seems very like the way that a simulator is going to make a thing. But I do see the simulators, as we were showing, are pulling Barner. So they're looking for Barner to be a big play or a big part of that game. And it's because the Patriots do have a strong front. They can slow Walker down. And if they slow Walker down and get the Seattle Seahawks into a throwing game, that's where Cooper Cup, Barner, and even Shaheed for a long bomb is going to hit. And that'll get to some of the bets that I got, man. But that's what I got. That's what I'm giving out. Do you want to give out another lineup before we get to these bets?
No, but I agree with you, and those are ways to get everyone in. I think Shaheed's a sneaky play, boom or bust, but it's a couple plays and he's pretty cheap, I like it. If you also wanted to, and you want to be really different, you throw, you could put Myers in at captain. Now that's risky because he's not field, But if he gets 14 points at the captain spot at whatever his price is, $5,000 some dollars, you could get JSN and May and Walker all in your lineups as well. Now it's a little risky with the kicker there at the captain spot, but I also see people do defenses too. And if you get a defensive touchdown, you're golden.
Unless it gets to a shutout game and then your defense only gets like 7 or 8 or maybe 9. But I mean, you get like that. But if you're going to do that, then why not just go all the way down to, go down to somebody like Mac Hollins at that point? Because I don't think I'm going. I mean, Austin Hooper would be the lowest. Yeah, I would like Hollins as your captain, and then go JSN, May, Darnold. And then I keep talking about Diggs being that forever hero. I love Butte. They threw the ball 6 times to him. They only connected on 1 pass. That's the way the Rams were able to beat Seattle. If New England can duplicate, and I know it's the Rams, right? And if they can duplicate those routes against Seattle that the Rams were able to duplicate, they can take advantage of some areas in that. Plus, don't count Drake May out from running for those first downs to extend drives. So right now, I got 5,600 at least. What's that?
Yeah, go ahead. I said that's true. His running ability.
Yeah. So you were talking about Drake May's running ability. So Hollins, JSN, May, Darnold, Butte, and you have $5,600 left over, which is either Myers, Cup, Borregalalas, if I said that right, that's the kicker for the Patriots, or Barner. Of those people, I would say the person that has the best chance to get the most points would be Jason Myers, because I think that Cooper Kupp's slated for at least 4 to 5 targets, and I think his reception total is going to be 3 to 4, which is actually not bad. We'll get to that on the betting side of things. And I like that lineup, so I'm going to play that lineup. We're going to need Matt Collins to get his 5 or 6 over the middle.
I just did, like, as you were doing that, I did a similar one, but I went for it, right? Let's say you're in a GPP. I put Booty at captain, Hollins and May, Myers, JSN, and Walker.
Yeah, I love that one. See?
Why not? I'm not saying I would do this for $100 single entry, but if you're playing the minis and stuff, you got to be different. There's so many people that can be playing the Super Bowl, and they're going to just be doing it for fun. So you got to be a little different.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the thing is that
too. Don't get me wrong. And you can put in lineups that you think are quote unquote, going to be the best guaranteed lineups, which they never are actually. But yes, anyway, but just be different. Go. If you have a gut feeling, go for it.
That's what the whole thing is. The Ultra Contrarian Show. This is what we're trying to do here. We're trying to create this. We're trying to put this out there. We're trying to give you angles and kind of the ideas of what it's like to be, a DFS expert. Look at the slate. Know that you're up against the machines at this point. People are going to be putting in 20 lineups. So you're going to want a single entry a lot of these lineups because you don't want to be going up against 20 lineups. Of course, you're going to throw the dollar down in the $60,000 chance because everybody has a dollar in a dream. You might be able to get a piece of that tie, but there's going to be a lot of this money that's going to end up getting tied because of the lineup trains. The lineup trains could seriously shift this Super Bowl, but this is why I keep talking about why the UFC is better at times than the NFL because of the trains and everything like that. But right now, we're talking about the Super Bowl. So
in showdowns, whether people are doing them or not, you're going to split. Especially if it's a popular line. Which I'm sure I've won a lot of money on showdown slates, and lots of times they were splitting. But if you split at the top, it's not too bad. But if you can afford it, what you do is maybe enter like the $33 bootleg instead of something like or something like that.
Yeah.
Go up a little. With a little less entries in it, if you can afford it, or do a 3 max, something like that. But it's very rare that you win it all on a showdown, especially the Super Bowl. I mean,
yeah, exactly. But, that's most of the time, that was Trevor. He was able to get those lineups, and he was able to get into those contests, and that's who you win, and that's how you win it with it. So that can make anybody our rich friend. But we have gave out a lot of different angles and a lot of things. So let's get to some of these bets here. All right, passing. So I'm gonna set up, everything is set up to the way I do my Heatastic bets of the night for Dr. Roto. That's always behind the paywall. I always have these bets. I always have a parlay, and then I run all my parlays together, and that's how I do it. I always have a first quarter. And then throughout the game, of course, I'll be giving up lineups into the subs only Discord. That's what a lot of us do. But to start it out, we'll start with passing. I go straight for the touchdowns. I want some points in this game. I'll explain those points when I get to the scoring part of this section. I have Drake May going 2 touchdowns and Darnold getting 2 touchdowns. Drake May is a plus 130, Darnold being a negative 113. If you parlay that together, you get a plus 253. Do you think that both of those are pretty strong, or do you think that one of them should be more along the 1 line?
I always like going for it. Repeat them one more time. I'm sorry. I was looking at one more time.
May 2 touchdowns, Darnold 2 touchdowns for a parlay of plus 253.
See, but the part that makes me nervous about that is the Darnold 2 touchdowns. That's the part that would make me nervous. I'm not saying he's not going to score touchdowns, especially, when you get into the red zone in the Super Bowl, anything can happen. So there's more likely. One of the things I was looking at was him under passing yards. Like, I'm not sure he's going to hit the passing yards that everyone has, but the touchdowns is different. That's a different ball game. But the passing yards, I'm not sure. I'm thinking about going under on that. But that would be the part that would scare me. They would get in, Walker runs in 3 touchdowns. That would be. But that's the point of parlays. You're going for it. That's why it's not even money or whatever it is.
Exactly.
We talked about Darnold last week, and then or 2 weeks ago, whatever it was, and then we were saying blah blah blah, and then he went off. Now we'll see what happens. Is he going to go back to the 9-point fantasy game, and they still win because Walker does well, or he gets a couple of long plays to JSN, and the defense does well? Go for 22 points again. That's going to be. I think if he does, the Seahawks definitely win.
I agree with that. So let's get to a couple other ones. There's Darnold 100 yards in each half. You said you didn't like his totals. And if there's a lot of running going on, so this game would have to be a shootout. Darnold in each half is plus 150, and then Darnold completes a 40-yard pass is a plus 115. I think that JSN and Shaheed did it last week against the Rams, or 2 weeks ago against the Rams, that it is possible that he's able to get a 40-yard pass. Do you feel the same?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So now, see, that's where I completely agree with. Let me just look here to make sure I got it right. I think they have, what do they have Darnold at? 232 passing yards, right? Mm-hmm. So I'm not sure he's going to get 232 passing yards, but I do think he can get a long bomb to Shaheed or a couple of long bombs to JSN. But he might only get like 200 passing yards or whatever, and runs, or a 70-yard bomb, a 40-yard, 50-yard bomb for a touchdown.
Yeah.
Hey, it up, then he doesn't have to throw as much, and again,
Exactly.
no offense to Cooper Kupp. Cooper Kupp was great, but they have JSN, and that's about it, So it's not like the Rams who have all these receivers or some of these other guys, So
can't be wishing that
now,
Cooper Kupp of luck, man. Right? Woo wee.
But when you get in the red zone, though, that's different. It's the Super Bowl. Anything can happen. You can go to JSN. You can go to Barner. You can throw to Walker out of the backfield. Whatever. So I think he's more likely he gets 2 touchdowns than he goes for 232. In my opinion, I'm not sure he's going to do the 232.
I like that. But you just brought up a big fact. Let's move along to the receiving, because the person you were just talking about, Kenneth Walker. I have 4 targeted guys. So here's my two yardage guys. I have Kenneth Walker over 15 receiving yards. You were just talking about that. Negative 230. Stevenson over 15 receiving yards is a negative 270. If that's parlayed together, you get a plus 101. How do you like those yardage? How do you like that for a yardage prop?
I like it. I was looking earlier, and I was thinking about doing a Walker, yardage receivers, yards. Now that one's lower than, like, say, on the Pick 6 or on Underdog. They have up at like 20 some. But if you look at the last, looking back at the last 3 games, 4 receptions, 4 targets, 49 yards, 3, 29, 4, 36. And then he had 6. And then the week before that, 64. So 1, 2, 3 of his last 4 games has gone over 29 yards receiving. And
exactly.
So I
build ladders.
So they have him at 21.5 receiving yards. And we talked about possibly doing an Underdog lineup together at the end of the show real quick. I like him going over 21.5 receiving yards,
Yep.
But
that in while we're going along the way.
Yeah, but then it goes back to, well, is Darnold going to get his 232? But he could get 21. I don't know. But then he's also 73 rushing yards. Does he get that too? And, on these, you can't always pick both. Well, you can. And then you play another lineup with the receiving yards, play another with the rushing yards or the combined yards. But I definitely think, that's possible for him to get some of those yards for sure.
I think
we just talked about it in the passing game, so he'll be used.
Yeah, and that's the thing, is because I still feel that's the respect I was talking about earlier when we get to this part of the show, that the Seattle Seahawks may have to respect that front defensive rush against the Patriots. So the Patriots, if they lock up Walker and they lock up Haloni, they're going to have to pass out the thing. All it takes is one good pass from Walker, and like you said, he had a big gain against the Rams. He's had all these other ones. So that's definitely it. Let's move along to some catches. You were just talking stuff.
For 1 second, because I like to interrupt. You want to know what the Gatorade shower color odds are?
What's that?
Blue at 203, green, yellow 245, orange 285, purple 525, and red or pink plus 669. Put your money on red or pink and go for the plus 669. It's so silly.
Dude, I like the 669, dude. They should just made that bet 666. But I like that. I like that red, pink, whatever it was. Because they were like, I don't know what color that is.
The Gator is plus 1,000 and no Gatorade showers plus 1,330.
Anyway, I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, we don't give advice on Gatorade showers, by the way. I just happened to see it as I was looking.
Hey, that's fun. Let's get to the receivings. I like Cooper Kupp. You were just talking about him, but he got 3 catches, is negative 210. And then I like Matt Collins. I think Matt Collins needs to reinsert himself in this lineup, and he's going to do that with 3 catches, which is a plus 124. When you parlay both of those together, you get a plus 215. Do you think that both of those lines are strong?
Yeah, I like Collins. He came back last week and he played pretty well. I think he's going to probably get used a little bit more this week. So I like that quite a bit. And I like him again, like for DFS as well. For the cheaper side. So I like Hollins and playing Diggs or one of those guys. That's a good play. I like it.
Yeah, and I'm building a ladder with Hollins. They got him really cheap because you brought up this last game. It was 2 targets, 2 catches, 51 yards. But if you look at back when he would for his injury, and this is what I was talking about that I was running big with Hollins. 9, 8, off week, 4, 6, 5, 10. This show has been on Hollins for longer than people can think about it. And that's why I'm running with Hollins. That's what I'm saying with my chest, because that's the difference. That's the contrarian shit that we do here on Bring the Pain at the Ultra Contrarian Lineup Show at Dr. Roto. Right, Steve? That's how we're doing it.
That's right. I made a quick underdog pick 6 lineup earlier just before we got on, and I put Cooper Kupp higher than 34.5 receiving yards. Kenneth Walker, use your free picks. It lets you pick a free thing. It gave Kenneth Walker higher than 0 rushing yards. So unless he gets hurt, you got the 0 rushing. He's going to get that. I did Jason Myers over 1.5 field goals. I did Drake May higher than 19.5 completions. That one's interesting. But I went for it there. Now, I didn't really do much of a correlation, but I did do Mac Hollins higher than 26.5 receiving yards. And then I topped it off with JSN higher than 6.5 receptions. And that's a 6 pick on underdog. It pays for $10 entry, $175 if you hit all 6. But I like the Hollins over 26. Yeah, man. And I mean, JSN is probably going to get, and then, obviously take your free picks. I think the pick 6 has, let's see what the pick 6 has, JSN over 0.5 receiving yards. You know what I'm saying? He's obviously going to get 1 receiving yard, So take advantage of that if you're playing several lineups. So, I chose my card. I almost didn't want to pick Kenneth Walker, but I did. So, it's like a free pick. So you get, instead of having to get 6 right, you only have 5 right, But I like that little together there. I definitely like Jason Myers over 1.5 field goals. I think he's going to get a couple field goals. And
I have that in my that's actually coming up pretty quick too. Since you brought it up, let's just do that real quick. So I have Seattle making 2 field goals. That's a negative 190. I have both teams making 2 field goals plus 175. They did not give out on FanDuel. So all my numbers are on FanDuel. They did not give out the New England kicker 2 field goals. It was 3 was minimum. So I went with the 2 field goals with that as it, because you couldn't parlay it together. And that's what I go. So I agree with you. I think that Jason Myers can definitely get 2 field goals. And of the 2 kickers in this game, I mean, Borg, we're just going to say Borg. We're going to call him Borg. You would think I would be able to say these names with all the UFC names that I say now. Juicebox Walker. Yeah, but I love it, man. So I think both those hit. Let's do a first quarter parlay prop that I always like to hit.
Yeah, just really quick. What we were just talking about with Darnold. I'm looking here on underdog. So you know how they give the either even odds, so his 232.5 passing yards, you can either go higher or lower. But we were talking about his over 1.5 passing touchdowns is 0.94, which means they think he is going to go, it's the safer bet. So we were just talking about that, maybe he doesn't get the yardage, but maybe he does get the touchdowns. And, so just, and then I don't think he goes for over 30.5 passing attempts, honestly, unless they can really get behind.
Yeah. And so for me, that's kind of go what I think that would be, that would have to be Seattle would be losing. So that would mean Darnold would go off. So let's get to this first quarter parlay, because that kind of deals a little bit with it. I went with Cooper Kupp 5 yards in the first quarter, negative 102. Walker, 10 rushing yards, negative 310. Stevenson, 5 rushing yards, negative 500, because the 10 rushing yards wasn't as good. And I still think that they might not run Stevenson as much. So you can move that up to 10. But it gave me a parlay of plus 216. So I like that. Now I did round robin that so that I could cover, because all year, either I hit the first quarter parlay or I miss one. even if I do a 4-leg parlay, I'd still miss one. I'll still go 3 and 4. So I do round robin those so that I can get the return on that. But I like that as a 216. And I think that can happen. I think both teams will come out, try to run a little bit, maybe get a 3 and out to start the game for both teams. That should be at least 5-10 yards rushing for both. And then maybe Cooper Kupp gets that attempt or that 5-yard catch. And then boom, we're sitting pretty, man. Do you think that those are strong odds to happen in the first quarter?
Certainly possible. Yeah. And one topic, off topic, on topic. I think Stevenson might surprise you. I think he, we've been talking about the Seattle defense, but we've also been talking about the Patriots don't have a lot of offensive players, and Stevenson is involved in the offense. He gets the carries, he gets the catches. So I don't mind. I don't mind Stevenson, even in DFS. Because they don't have a lot of other talent. So I like that. Yeah, that's interesting. I like that.
So if you do want to take the Stevenson negative 500 out, right? If you feel that he might get a 5-yard pass at the beginning of the game, that becomes a plus 132. So if you do the plus 132 on that end, right, for Stevenson, 5 yards in the first quarter, highly possible, right? We're going to go over to Kenneth Walker, 10 yards at negative 310, and then we're going to run it back with the Cooper Kupp 5-yard catch, because let's say they just need 4 yards for a catch, and they get that. The 5-yard catch is still a negative, and now we have a parlay of a plus 470. I like it. I like that part. That's a nice level.
Yeah, there you go. I like that. And remember, when we're doing these parlays and stuff, it's we're trying to win money. We're trying to go for it. Betting on quarters and things like that. It's always hard to predict, but that's the whole point. That's why it's not even money. That's not why it's guaranteed. It's you're going for it. I always one of the craziest. Though I knew someone who was really good at predicting the first who would score the first basket of the NBA game. There's a little skill to it because but he would always and he was really good. So you don't know what happens. Is it a defensive first quarter? Our team's nervous. Is there a bunch of punts and it happens and then picks up, or all of a sudden, boom, there out the gate. So, remember when we has these quarters and halves and bets like that, it's always, game flow and a little luck involved. There's always luck involved.
Let's talk about luck.
Yeah, skill and luck.
Let's get lucky. Let's talk about luck. How about JSN scoring a touchdown, negative 110? Mac Hollins scoring a touchdown, plus 410, becomes a parlay of plus 856. You shouldn't always parlay touchdowns, so I'm playing those as singles. But I did play the parlay because it's still worth it at the plus 856 to kind of do it. I know you like JSN. I know that we all feel that JSN gets that touchdown unless what happens to you, fading JSN happens, and then he doesn't get that touchdown. But I feel that if JSN should get a touchdown, I like the negative 110. It comes off of the top, it comes off of Walker, so you'll be different than the books. You get a better lineup, and then you take your chance with Hollins over the middle. Again, we just talked about Hollins being used over the middle in this offense, and Hunter Henry hasn't been used. If they don't use Hunter Henry, they're going to use either Pop Douglas or Mac Hollins underneath, and that can lead to the Hollins touchdown, which could make this happen. Do you believe that?
Yeah, and I mean, JSN is the star of this game. He's probably going to score a touchdown, and obviously there's no guarantees, but this is not. We're not looking at the Super Bowl talking about these powerful offenses and Nakua and Jay, all these superstars. We're talking about Drake and Sam Darnold. No offense to New England and Seattle, right? Okay.
That's right. Right.
Yeah, JSN. But and I believe I saw JSN was the Offensive Player of the Year. He won. He is the superstar, the offensive player in this game. He should score a touchdown. That's that should. And if Seattle wants to win, they're going to try to get him the ball. Give it to Walker and get him the ball. Give it to Walker, get him the ball.
I agree with
I
that.
think he's going to score a touchdown.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. Let's get over to the sack side of things. X-Ram, love him to death. Byron Murphy plus 172. And I love Milton Williams. I know Sam Darnold's going to get sacked in this game, right? But Milton Williams always seems to be that guy that kind of comes up. Now, there is some things going on with a few of their pass rushers, being hurt right now and coming back. So we're not going to talk too much about that. One of those guys, let me just get you the guy's name because that's exactly what you have to watch for because he creates havoc. And it's Harold Landry. That's who I was going for. It was Harold Landry. And Landry actually is a plus 265. So when you look at that, I feel that the more sacky side can be on the Patriots side, but that's why I'm going to run with my guy, Byron Murphy. I know he's got a high motor coming from LA, just as I said, and Milton Williams getting that plus 194 for a parlay of plus 560. I think it's possible. I think if this game's a defensive game, we get some multiple sacks. This is going to be an easy bet that hits at a plus that. And that just talks about with Dan Vick coming in with on your defense, you should really get Myles Garrett. We know Myles Garrett isn't in this game.
Yeah, and those are interesting. Just looking here at underdog, I keep using underdog's example because I wanted to change it up a little bit. But you got Lawrence at 1.02, so they think Lawrence is going to get it. You got Williams at 1.04. Williams on Seattle, then Williams on New England at 1.16. So you're taking a little bit, and then Murphy at 1.22. So they're the top four, and then you got Tucson, Nwosu, Hall, et cetera. It starts to go up. Landry's at 1.75. So I like that because that's I'm going to take my chance with Landry. It's not necessarily a guarantee, but that's why it's going to pay out more,
Exactly.
So I like, and I mean, of course, there's going to be stats, it's the NFL, it's the Super Bowl, there's going to be sacks. It's two good defensive teams too. It's not, it's all over. So, both of these teams, let's see, Patriots had 47 sacks. And I think I just saw it right here. The Seahawks had 50 sacks. So there's going to be sacks.
That's what we like.
I like it because I was actually thinking about what I do on defense because this is the kind of game. This is it, everyone. This is the NFL, the end of the season. And everybody always plays weird stuff, and that's why you can bet on the Gatorade. That's why you can bet on how long the national anthem's going to be.
Streakers.
Yeah. It's all the people that normally don't watch want to play, and then everyone else is getting all their last money in before the end of the season. So you go with fun stuff that you want to see happen, or that you can root for, and maybe win a little money too.
It's a celebration, man.
Especially if you're thinking about it, it gives you something to do.
It sure does. All right, let's move along to some squares. I don't really play squares on the sites too much, but since I had a squares pool with the league that I won the championship in, my macho was Hichiatos. Ooh, yeah. Right? Since I won that league, I got Josh Allen always wins me the quarterback week. So I always take that money and I throw it on the squares. So I went to FanDuel and I decided to pull out the squares because unfortunately I was dealt 2 8s, Seattle with an 8, New England with an 8. That's a plus 1,500. Wrong. 15,000. 15,000. So $1 wins you $151. So I threw that money on there just in case, because then I would win on that. I would win on my hometown leagues, and then I would win on the FanDuel. So why not try to increase it? I actually got a 0 for New England and a 1 for Seattle. I played that. So I'm going to get that. That's plus 5,000. So I decided to throw in a half unit on that. And if I can get either one of those to hit and then my squares to hit, I could be looking at winning $200, $400, $500.
1 and 0 is much better than 2 8s.
I know. I was 28 to 18.
Yeah, I mean that's a tough one, but 1 and 0. much more doable.
That would be 4 field goals practically. That would be 1 touchdown for New England and 4 field goals. You would pretty much, or 38-18, which isn't bad.
Yeah.
It's crappy.
Maybe a safety. Someone gets a safety.
Yeah.
Two-point conversions in the safety, or actually a touchdown, 2-point conversion, and a field goal. 18. There you go.
It's just crazy, dude. Yeah, the 2-8s is trash, but hey, whatever. Even 50 cents is $75. So
there's no skills in squares. There's no skills in squares. That's right.
there is no skill. So let's get to the scoring.
Go ahead.
Yeah. So the scoring, I have this. Here's my prediction: Seahawks 34, Patriots 20. So it was close to that. It was close to those two. Close to that. It's just doing my uncle. I think my uncle. I have my uncle's bet. I'll have to pull that up when you give that. So, all right. So the Seahawks 34 points total, single bet plus 1,700. Patriots 20 points plus 1,000. Then that's win lose. They get that. Win by 14 points because if you just noticed, 34-20, it's a 14-point win plus 1,500. I played all this, of course. Seattle 34 to Patriots 20 is 12,500. I threw $1 on that, and that's how I kind of threw those together. So while I look that up, what do you feel about that score, and what do you have the game going? I know you talked about it earlier. What's your feels? And I'll go grab my uncle's score.
I like those bets for sure. Go for it. And that's for fun and to try to win money. I think I hadn't really thought about the final score. I'm gonna say, let's see, 3 field goals by Myers. That's 9, and 3 touchdowns somehow. So 30 to 24. 30 Seahawks, 24 Patriots.
30-24. Let's go. Let's get that. So I did find my uncle's. It was 31
to 24 the over, but go ahead.
No, his score was 31 30 Seahawks. Wait, hold on here. Let me go back and check that again because I want to make sure it's right. It's all right. Boom, here we go. It's the Seahawks 31, Patriots 23. 15,000.
We were close.
So that's what I say. It's still getting. He's got the 1 Seattle field goal on that one. So I was like, oh, okay. So let's give out yours because right now, like this is hard to hit people. But the fact is that we're trying to give you an idea because if you notice, like, and you were just talking about the total points for this game, is that you're right about there. So you said Seahawks 30-24, right?
Yeah, and the over-under is 45, so that would be 54 points. So if you think that's right, you better bet the over. I think it's going to depend how it, I think it's going to depend how the game starts, actually. If either team, really gets going, I think it's going to be a lower scoring game than we're expecting. I think there's going to be touchdowns, but it's certainly not going to be, 3, 4, 5 touchdowns each team. They're both good defenses, but if the teams get going early, I think they could get over that. Like I said before, 45 is a pretty low number for a Super Bowl. At least to my, 45 is pretty low. So you might want to take the over unless you think it's going to be if they get to Darnold and Walker can't run, they're going to have troubles. How's he going to get it to JSN? If they bounce on Walker and they cover JSN, no offense, Cooper Kupp ain't going to be able to get, do it by himself, and
right.
if if somehow, and if Seattle can stop May, and we already talked about them stopping Stevenson, maybe we do get the lower scoring game, and it's a 17-14 or a 20-14 or something like that type game, 17, something like that. But I definitely see Walker scoring. So I think if you're going to bet something, you put Walker in to score too, because I think he's going to score. We talked about JSN, so that's 2 touchdowns there. I think an interesting play, the May rushing touchdown as well. Did we talk about that? I think him running one in might be an interesting play on a sneak or a bootleg or a broken play or something.
You'll see. All right. Well, you're talking about some crazy stuff. I actually have some crazy stuff that kind of goes with what you were just talking about, except on another end. So let's talk about some fun bets. Shaheed, being the fastest player, must record 1 catch. That's to go with my 40-yard catch. He's the player to do it. The odds are a plus 420. And just like I said on Thursday, we're going to smoke that bet. Ooh, yeah. Right? Players to record a pass over 2.5 players plus 132. I always have money on that. And a touchdown pass on a player other than a quarterback is plus 900. We're putting action on that. But here it goes. Any quarterback to win the MVP is a negative 250. We all know they love to give the quarterback the MVP. Let's play that, right? Receiver to win MVP. JSN sounds pretty good. It's another plus 420. We're going to smoke that bet too. Oh, yeah. Steve's like, what is wrong with this man? MVP by
I'm looking at it right here, plus 426. And Sam Darnold at plus 104. I would not take that. I'm not taking Sam Darnold at almost even, for the MVP. I don't like that. I prefer JSN or May or even Kenneth Walker at plus 669.
Hell yeah. So the MVP other than a quarterback alone, you don't need the quarterback. Quarterback is not the MVP. It's plus 195. Right. That's how you cover it. Unfortunately, right. I am going to go against your sauce because I got your crazy little touchdown you were talking about. MVP Darnold 115. I got him for a 115. And if you do Darnold MVP plus a rushing touchdown, plus 1,400. Boom. So there goes your little May thing you were talking about. There's a May touchdown rushing with May as MVP as well too. And I think that one might be a plus 1,500. I would have to go find that, man. But dude, tell me about those. I always go looking. Like, I know that those are bets that people go, you shouldn't play those. But look, both these quarterbacks get a rushing touchdown. We've seen it happen. You just talked about it. And that's what made it even better was like just throwing that in, man. What do you think about it, man?
I love it. And this is what you got to do for the Super Bowl. You got to have fun. It's your last, chance to watch football, professional football for the season, and Pro Bowl doesn't count. And then, have some fun with it. Go for it. Don't put your life savings on a plus 1,500 bet, but
yeah, right.
Yeah, but this is when you have to. This is it. No more football. Have some fun. Go for some of the off-the-wall things. Put a couple bucks here, a couple bucks there. Just to see what happens. And then this is not the game in my mind to just play it safe because there's no more football. So if you you can bet the Seahawks or the Patriots or the over, or the under, or whatever you want. But it's where you have fun. And, have some fun and go with some. If you want to try to win some money, go with what you think are guaranteed stuff, but then go with some off the wall stuff as well.
I got you. I got you. Drake May, MVP, rushing touchdown plus 750. I'm going to be playing that as well, too, because you might as well just play out the quarterbacks. You might also have a little fun. Dude, how about this? Plus 10,000. Seattle throws an interception at the 1.
Interception at the one. That's interesting.
Yes, I
Hey.
have it. A dollar wins 110.
Yeah.
Oh, dude. See, I all this money. I have my showdown slate or my best ball lineup that's already going to return money. So it's like I already have a lot of this money already invested in. There's so much money. And then like with the Olympics today, I started up. It already paid for itself. So I was like, I'm gonna go throw some more Olympic bets in. A lot of those bets are at the subs only Discord at Dr. Roto. And then we got the UFC starting in a half hour, man. It's wild.
Darnold threw 14 interceptions this year.
That's correct. I'm working.
He threw threw for 14 interceptions. So
all we got to do is like get that bet to hit. And I'll say, I gave that bet out. You gave that bet out on this show. We agreed with it and nobody else did. And that's the way you bring the pay, brother.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. And just to close it out, like we were talking about having fun, if you want to have some fun, put something on Stevenson to be the MVP. I think he was like plus 1,500 or something. If you're, I also always say it's the Super Bowl. If you're a fan of the team, have some fun too. And then don't try not to get too depressed if you lose, but it happens. But
Keyshawn Booty is plus 12,500, man. That's it. 50 cents wins you $67. It doesn't have to win you a lot of money, but if you put in $45 and this hits for 50 cents, then you still win money.
That's right. I know a lot of people that do like a lot of those bets where they put this guy MVP, this guy MVP, and if one of them hits, they win. Yeah. Right. Someone's gonna win it, and this is not a Super Bowl where it's like hands down, this guy's gonna. Your boy Stafford MVP, by the way, he was on my team,
right. And he's coming back. So that's good to hear. That means Puka's the number one player to be selected next year. Well, no, it's Bijan Robinson. Then we're going to go Puka Nacua because I trust Puka Nacua in the Rams offense with Click Queensbury now. So that means the tight ends probably get a little bit of work. We get some Colby Parkinson going. So I love it. But hey, before we get out of here, did you say that?
Right.
Did you make that prize picks lineup already?
I gave out that one underdog lineup with the zero thing, but it's up to you if you want. I mean, we're kind of running long. It's been an hour. We can. I'll post some stuff in Discord.
Okay. Yeah, we can talk about
that. What's that?
I said, yeah, we could talk. What were you going to make? You're making a six leg. You want to make? We could do it real fast.
We can. Let's go for it.
All right.
I mean, like
Collins, three catches.
Go ahead. Sorry.
I was going to say, if you want one of mine, Hollins 3 catches.
All right. So, Hollins. I guess I got to find him, huh?
Yeah, look for him. If you find, do you think that JSN scores?
All right, so we got Hollins, Mac Hollins. They have higher than 2.5 receptions here on Underdog.
Yeah, let's do it
for it.
Yep.
All right. And JSN, I don't know. You think he scores?
Yep. I think that's something we both agree on.
All right, so higher than a rushing and a half a rushing and receiving touchdown. All right. I don't like going under. But what do you think about Darnold going under the 232? We don't have to do that one. I hate going under, but
I'd rather not play the yards as part of something this big. I'd rather just play like
Walker. Score over 73 rushing yards, over 21 receiving yards, over 2.5 receptions.
I like Walker for that 21.5. That's pretty edgy. This is going to make a really nice payout if we could put this together just perfectly.
All right, so we got 3 picks. Anything on May?
I mean, what do you want to do? You want to do? I mean, one touching down. How about May's rushing yards? May's rushing yards. Go for May's rushing yards.
It's 36 and a half.
36 and a half.
Yeah.
Holy
His attempts are 6.5 and it's a 0.87. So I think he's going to go for over some attempts. His completions 19.5. I don't think he's going to attempt over 30 passes, but yeah.
Yeah, I don't think that I wouldn't go with that either. I know Shaheed 5 yards is negative 114, but I don't think they gave him the ball last time, and I don't know if they're going to want to do some trickery or some wide receiver stuff. That's something that you could probably play as like a separate ladder. I wouldn't play that on this one, but I mean that's always something else.
Should we add Myers over 1.5 field goals?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. All right, and that's only 0.73, so that kind of makes it a little. So we got 4 picks right here. It's Myers over 1.5 field goals, JSN over a touchdown, Walker higher than 21.5 receiving yards, Hollins higher than 2.5 receptions. We can keep going if you want.
What do you got right now for a $5 bet? What's a $5 bet? What's the odds? Well, what's the odds at? That's all I need.
Oh, okay. Well, with just 4 picks here, it would be $5 would pay. If you did the max, it would be 7.59. So it'll be 5 for $37. We only did 4 players.
Not bad. We could do 2 more. We could do 2 more if you think let's if you want to do 2 or 1 more.
I mean, why not? Do we want May, Henry, Diggs, Booty?
How about Diggs? What's Diggs at? Diggs 25, 30. Diggs 40. What's his receiving yards? Diggs receiving yards
46.5, 5.5 targets, 4.5 receptions.
4.5 reception. That's kind of high though. I'd like 3.5.
Yeah. Does he get 5.5 targets?
Yes. Yeah, he gets 6 targets.
All right. Then let's do that because it's a 0.8. All right, let's do 1 more.
Yeah.
Let's do somebody. What do you want to do? Cooper Kupp?
We could do him. Cooper Kupp's what's his Cooper Kupp's receptions?
Targets, or we could do
what's his targets? What's Cooper Kupp's targets? Is it 4? 3?
4.5. 3.5 receptions. Or we haven't done anything with May. If we want to do something with May,
I mean, this is the point where you think if you think May's going to throw 2 touchdowns, that'll probably explode that payout. If not, then yeah. I mean, what's May's if the Patriots are behind, he's going to have.
Yeah, go ahead. Either I would say either we could go for it. Throw over 1.5 touchdowns. I mean, either that. You want to try that?
Yeah. Let's do that and see what we got.
Or over 223 picks. So if we did higher than that, it would be a 6-pick $5 pays. If you did the max payout, $22.3, $111. If you did the flex play, it would be $5 to win $79.
That's not bad, dude. That's not bad. I think you play both, honestly. I think you play it both ways.
My only and we're gonna get out of here, but that's the interesting way. My only thing is if you want to make a correlation, you might want to have someone in there catching a touchdown from that. But that's only if you want correlation. You know what I'm saying? Because we have Diggs targets, receptions, but we don't have touchdowns. Now he could throw it to Henry, so we would still get those other things, and but that would be my only thing about doing something like that.
So let's do that real quick. Throw in. What's that?
Who's going to catch the touchdown from Mays?
That would Man, this is a Hunter Henry moment. This is where I already think it's Mac Hollins, but I think Mac Hollins' number is going to be so good that I think it might drive up the half play, and it might make it even more profitable. So throw in the Mac Hollins touchdown.
We changed from the receptions to the touchdowns. It's 2.17. So it goes from the payout. I have to remove. Oh, I can't combine that. Dang.
Yeah, you can't combine it. I knew that you were going to say that. Yep.
Yeah. But anyway, so yeah, that's just an idea, people. We could do Henry. We could do Henry touchdown. Can we combine that? You think he'll score a touchdown? I mean,
the Diggs. You were leading towards Diggs. So, but I'm fine with Henry or Diggs. Maybe good. It would seem like it would have to be Henry if it's going to be that. If there's going to be 2 throwing touchdowns, one of them probably goes to Henry.
Yeah. Well, I'll take a look. Or Booty, and then I'll post something in Discord.
There you go. All right, brother, man. I love it, man. Another great show. We had some fun, man. Thanks for making time to come on. We definitely
this year. Great year, man.
Yeah, we did. And I want to say thank you to everybody that did watch us throughout the year. I know that the Super Bowl at this time of the year kind of doesn't get so much crazy, but it was just an honor to actually bring you on and do this whole season, get you, we made it. This show changed. It was just always me running everything out. You had the GPP aspect. And so for next year, we're going to come back. We're going to do this, and we're definitely going to keep winning money as long as we keep doing this, brother.
Yeah, I'm down. I'm down, man. And I wish everybody luck. And if you're a Seattle or Patriots fan, good luck to you. And we'll see you next year.
And always remember to bring the pain. Ooh, yeah.
Thanks for stopping by the office. Get your fantasy prescription by subscribing to the channel and checking out drroto.com. Until the next visit, be well and take care.